firewood, and we wanted to take and put a light up there so they can, you know, help out our folks that are here at night doing work on the behalf of the town. We can reduce that $900 if we do the excavating for that light too. That's $5,590. We need to repair a couple sinks in the office for $600. Town office security system is $1,448. We don't have any security or smoke detectors. It's really operating well here. We won't upgrade it. Recommendation of our fire chief. Of course, we also increases annual monitoring for him. Additional, there's a whole bunch of little odds and ends. We gotta do some flash repair on the chimney for $2,860 up on this building. Highway department, we're gonna put a fire alarm system in there. There is nothing in there now. In the last, 3 or 4 years, the town of Hopkinton and Henniker both had fires in their town sheds, started by vehicles and such. Very costly endeavor on those parts. I've known folks in both towns that dealt with that, and it's miserable to deal with it after it happens. So we figured it'd be proactive if we want to stick a fire alarm system in that, and Chief Williams recommended it as well. So we took his recommendation and we're gonna run with it here. So we hopefully aren't gonna be in the same boat as those two towns if it ever happens. So to install a fire alarm system, it's gonna be $3,330. Then the electrical installation to do that is another $2,300. Then we get the one new 14-foot door. Our doors are too small in the highway garage, can't fit in trucks properly. Jeff said, I think you can do with one right now, right? Yeah, we're gonna do the other one next year.
That was the plan,
Yep.
space it out.
Yep, we're gonna try to space it out. So you get 12-foot doors right now, right?
Yes, the original building
Yep.
had 12-foot doors.
Alright, so-
And equipment has evolved, and with one subcontractor retiring, we're expecting the next guy to come along, we'll have a newer truck, and
Yep.
they won't fit in the 12-foot door. We get a 14-foot opening.
I got a question on that fire prevention.
Sure.
Do we require all the contractors to have disconnect switches on their vehicles?
Yep,
Okay.
we all do.
All the equipment?
Yep.
Okay.
That was something they, well, as you know, imposed a long time ago,
Mhm.
we all have them.
Good. Anything else while we're taking a break for budget?
I'm good.
So, putting the 14-foot doors in there, it's gonna be the new door, concrete, and reframing the door, new door opening. That's gonna be about $7,000 in general. I can go through every number if you like, but it's about $7,500
Yes.
for one door.
Total with everything.
Yep, and I think next year, what our plan is to take and do the second door, and at that time, do the painting, cause it makes no sense to take and paint it and then tear it apart, so.
Yep.
Your building is on the list for painting. I know
Good.
that we've kicked it down the road at least 3 years that I'm aware of.
Yes, I would.
Library building repairs, $5,000 for outside repairs, hardwood floor repairs, $500, transfer station, recycling center, we have about another, $6,900 in repairs. So, then admin and general government buildings, we decreased to $1,600, that's mowing. Historical site is nothing. Gasoline, due to the fuel, we've reduced the fuels. Gas is down $2,500, diesel down $2,500, electric is no change. Another electric is, town hall is no change. Electric, police and fire, mine went down 500. Transfer station is no change. Highway garage is down $200 on electric. Heating oil, town office, down 500, highway down 400, town hall down 1,850, police and fire down 3,500, heating, for the transfer station, propane, no change, janitor, salary, CPI went up $49, heating, maintenance, repairs, we decreased the line $500 for an even 2,000. So we have an overall increase of 17,578. That's just to get our buildings up to relatively snuff condition. Absolutely.
I thought we weren't gonna do the recycling center this year. I thought we would.
I think you're right, but I wasn't.
That note may not have, that was in my notes, the sub, so I may have missed removing it, but that total number, that 48,770, is accurate. So I'll have to double check the minutes, but
I thought the stainless steel was definitely fine.
yeah, but I thought there was something else we would look into, like
Some other
creating
material,
a metal.
yeah, some other non-porous material.
Right.
So, we may have a change next.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian,
Yes, sir.
I have a question too.
Absolutely.
On the heating and oil sections here,
Mhm.
big drops, but I can understand it because price has gone way down.
Yep.
What percentage of any of this would you say is due to any refitting of the building? I know there's been some work here to gain efficiencies. The fire department, I know, John, you guys did a lot of work over there this last year to gain some efficiencies as long as
I'd
other
have to ask
stuff.
the energy committee to take a look into that, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. I know electricity wise, I know we've had reductions to the relamping over the course of time.
Mhm.
Same with the library, that was a
Yeah.
big savings.
Oh, I know we
Yeah,
had,
the old-
when we did the heating here, I know it went down considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we put the new, vapor barriers in and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and the new one, so.
Yeah.
Exact numbers, I don't know if we're
Okay.
tracking them. Can ask the energy committee to do that, could we?
Mhm.
Excuse me. Any other questions, folks? Alrighty, cemeteries, no change, we went, flat budget with that,
Brian,
Yep.
got a question.
absolutely,
On the monument repairs,
yep,
my wife and I were in there at least twice a year putting the flags up and taking them down. We noticed a lot of broken stones and stones that are laying flat.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna repair any of those.
yeah, we are.
There will be,
Yes, it's in our warrant article
yeah,
From last year,
yeah.
last year, it was
Yeah, we have-
$20,000 put in the
Yeah, we have
warrant
a
article.
contractor we've been working with,
Okay,
and that's, and we did some straightening this year, next year, that is what we'll be doing next.
any other questions? Alright, insurance, property liability insurance, it decreased $12,995, because we had a little bit of $30,000, and, I think we, that one here. Oh, we have a multi-program discount of $3,000, and do we have a holiday premium credit somewhere? Was that, no?
No,
No,
that's something else, but
Okay.
that we're looking to move the billing cycle
Yep.
to a calendar year
That's
rather
right.
than June to July.
Yep, okay, that's right. Yep, invoice, that's right, for 6 months updated. That's why, okay.
So next year, that's gonna go back up to a higher number. 'cause
Unless
you're
we have a
only
holiday
doing 6
credit.
months.
Most of it,
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Okay,
And we had to change vendors, current property liability folks that we have, basically the state said you can't do business anymore. Part of that health trust, all that,
Yeah, I
stuff
saw that.
over, so,
okay.
we went out to bid, these were the low bid folks, and the nice thing is we're gonna get on a calendar year instead of a fiscal year, so that way we're not chopping up in the middle of our fiscal year. But, in the meantime, it may go back up, look next year. Alright, total insurance decrease of $12,995. Okay, police department. Alright. Crime control full-time, the increase is, 10,154, it's, CPI and had an increase in that line item. And I don't have my notes on here.
Well, there was two officers got, step increases,
That's right,
Yeah.
and then you got, all the full-time officers having 53.
53 weeks, right?
Yeah.
53 plus step, thank you. Alright, crime control, full-time overtime, went down $241. Excuse me. Alright, holiday pay, it had an increase of $243. Alright, part-time, decrease of $4,168. Decorating the police department, had a decrease of $674. There's no vehicle lease. Supplies, training, prosecution fees, all are no change. Hardware for the police had a decrease of $900, gasoline went down $5,000. Dispatch went down $17,385. Last year, when we were at this point in time, we asked the chief to look into, possibly other dispatch services, because Bo was just going up and up and up and up. And surprisingly, he came back with some numbers from Merrimack County Sheriffs and the Goffstown, and was there one other? Bo. And by far, Bo was still out in space. And Goffstown was the cheapest. And, it worked out such that we were able to, the end of this year, with all the proper notifications, everything, we moved over to Goffstown. This is the decrease that you see. We had to take and also change some of our hardware to be, in all honesty, so we had to put some money into the system, but next year, you'll definitely see these, the reward of that. Alrighty. Network hosting, went up $880. IMC contract, it's, vendor-specific sole source software for the police, went up $304 by contract. Physical plant, telephone, vehicle maintenance, all no change. Department equipment for the police, decrease of $2,700. Fees and services for police went up $2,222. Radio repair, crime prevention uniforms, no change. Accreditation, nothing. Criminalistics police, no change. So we had an overall decrease of $17,265 in the police department budget. Any
Brian,
questions?
what's in the fees and services for the police? What kind of stuff was this?
And services.
Just for my own information, not questioning the increase, but just, what is it?
Yeah,
I got my notes.
I have to dig my notes here. Well, I know some of the fees, like, they have,
Police. Pretty detailed breakdown.
Magazines.
Magazine, right, but I
And
mean,
then there are dues
dues for different things.
for police associations, police chief association.
I know he's got it all listed out there.
Yep. Which line,
It'll be the fees and services, yes, 4210.13, 390.
1-3, okay. Subscription to investigative data, as well as medical and psychological evaluations and polygraphs for replacement part-time officer payment.
Oh, yes, he's looking for part-time, police officers, and that takes, they gotta go through a lot of testing.
Yeah, take physical
Yeah.
exams and
Physical.
psychological
Right,
exams.
so those fees and services, those,
And also, a big chunk of that, now that I think about it, is he signed up with some online program for items that are stolen. So they can go on there, as soon as they find out something's stolen, they can go on there and list it, so all of the other departments know about it.
and they also check pawn shops and all that.
Like, they automatically check pawn shops, so.
And it has paid off dividends for us on the police side, as we're told,
Cool.
so, it's helped, cause I mean, those are those are your, neighbors and such, they get broken into and stuff stolen and like that, so, we thought it was, a year or so ago, it was a good idea, and, like I said, it's paid off dividends for the police, it's still there. Any other questions? Alright, fire department. And John, if you wanna jump in, you're welcome too. By all means. Administration part-time, increase of $120, that was the increase of salary. Administration fire chief, decrease of $280. Forest firefighting, increase of $500. Training, went down $500. Mutual aid compact went up $1,257. Excuse me, gasoline went down $250, diesel went down $500. Office supplies, fire station supplies, no change. Telephone went up $500. little known that we know that the, fire department was, siphoning off internet and stuff off the police department. So now that after the, after the
Good
renovations,
job there, John.
after all the renovations, he had to get his own. So he's now accounting for his actual usage, so.
So it's maybe we should cut back on some of those new detection services the police department.
Yeah.
It worked all too well.
Yes. Mobile phones, no change, department equipment maintenance, no change, dues, fire department, no change. Radio repair, increase of $250, pagers is an increase of 1,500. Phase of radio replacements, I don't know if you wanna speak to that, John?
Pages,
Yeah, pager.
yeah, we haven't bought any for a few years and starting to get some that are unrepairable, so I'm gonna try to replace 3 or 4 every year, try to get new pages. Unfortunately, in the electronics world today, a lot of equipment can't be repaired, they throw it away.
What you sent to Mexico, you were
Yeah.
saying?
Motorola, who is one of the largest radio companies in the world, they're what they call their depot, but I found out the depot's in Mexico. And our radios go back there for repair, and if it's like a circuit board's gone in or something, they just throw them and dump. You know, it's not worth repairing, they claim, parts are unavailable, so. Unfortunately, you have to buy new, so. We haven't bought any pages for a while, so. Just gonna have to start buying some again.
Alright, next page here, protection equipment went down 1,000, subscriptions increased to $50. Fire prevention, dry hydrants, medical ambulance expenses and paramedic intercepts, no change. An overall increase of $1,147 from the fire department. Any questions on the fire department? Okay. Building inspection, alrighty. 53 weeks plus CPI, went up $1,168 for his salary. Overtime went down $34. You got another decimal points there, you're messing me up here. I wanna say 3,400.
Okay.
Cut it. Building inspector, decreased $2,253. Supplies, increase 874. Training, decrease of $50. And the Boca dues went down $50. Excuse me. Overall decrease of $345. Any questions on building inspection?
Building inspector decrease, is that because we're not as busy or because of salary change or something, staffing
Not as
change?
busy, I mean, because we're still the same.
Busy, but we don't have a building inspector, we don't have an active building inspector,
Oh, okay.
and
But we have one
I
active.
Okay, you ready again, John?
so that, actually, that 5,000 was actually what they spent on, salary last year, so, the money was in there the previous year because of the fees that they paid that year, so. It is busy, but, just you don't have the hours to justify that amount of money.
And John's been doing a fabulous job as the acting and building inspector,
Mhm.
they may say. Emergency management, flat budget, no change. Any questions on emergency management? It's easy. Highway department, and Jeff, by all means, you can jump in here too if you want, when the time comes, if need be. Alright, telephone highway, no, how did we do that? I thought it was always admin was above a high telephone, how did that happen? What? Usually it was, you know, the,
That's just the way the
Full-time.
accounts were set up
oh wow,
before me.
it just threw me off, cause I usually see admin higher.
Mhm.
Alright, telephone highway, no change, supplies for the highway, a decrease of $2,000, admin highway full-time, increase of 53 weeks in the CPI of 3,306. Part-time,
You're getting a step increase too, right?
Yeah, there was an increase.
oh, there wasn't a step yet.
It
Also
happened
step-
last year, so,
Yeah.
but it carries into
Right.
this
It
year.
is- Yeah,
It happened sometime in October of last year,
Oh.
whatever, it was the anniversary of the year higher.
So. admin, part-time, we went up $3,000, admin full-time overtime, increased 1,000. Highway paving and construction, increase of $1,094. Highway services other, we, flatlined that last year, I think, right? How did we get the,
It was something that was charged.
yeah, so,
Anyway.
yeah, cause we just combined that in with the.
Yeah, it was, we
Yeah.
couldn't really figure, it was a previous bookkeeping thing, and we decided it was kinda silly, we just added it all.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly,
Make
And I couldn't delete it because it was a charge ending
right.
until it clears out.
Alrighty. Roadside mowing, increase of $500, uniforms for the highway department, no change, mobile phones, no change, gasoline, no change, diesel fuel, decrease of $4,400. Department equipment maintenance, increase of $4,500. Equipment rental, no change, patching, highway, no change, culverts, nothing, blasting, no change, gravel, nothing, road striping, no change, tree cutting, decrease of $7,000. The bulk of it was done on Grapevine this year. Crushing gravel, nothing, winter contractors, no change, road salt and sand, no change. Basically, Jeff really came in with a flat budget again this year. Any questions on the highway? Ron?
What's all included in the roadside mowing? Do we contract that out, or?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
We contract it out, every time we will do any work on the road, we try to remove stumps
mhm,
and make it so it's easier to be mowed with a, tractor operated mowing machine. So we try to eliminate having to go back with chainsaws and cut the brush and stuff, so that increases it. Hopefully the goal is to increase that, so more maintenance is done that way. And we also, we take care of, septic systems on the school, mowing those, and all the other areas
Okay.
around. You know, little things, I mean, it's, you know, that's basically, we hit every road,
mhm.
and do some sort of mowing.
The only reason I was asking is diesel and everything else has been going down, so I was trying to figure out what was in this line item.
Well, yeah, that's
Contracting
subcontractor
services,
thing,
yeah.
and, like I said, the workload increases a little bit every year, not dramatically, but a little bit. And over the last couple of years, we've accepted a couple more roads
Mhm.
totally, so that's increased it a little
Yeah.
bit.
More linear feet to take them out. More linear feet to mow, basically.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
which, that's the best way to maintain this.
Well, it's better to mow.
We can mow
Because
on a regular basis.
Brush makes a hell of a snow fence.
Yeah, for, you know, for a number of years, the town kinda got away from doing that, but it's a good thing to do, really.
Oh, yeah.
First few years, it was a pretty tough job, but it's gotten a lot better now. That's all. And I mean, you can see what we spent last year, so we did the budget, I was like, wow, we spent that much. We just increased it a little bit, make it a little more accurate.
Any other questions on the highway department?
Yeah.
Good. Good.
So, Jeff, the blasting, wouldn't that come under, highway construction?
Well, we just kinda carry it, we usually carry a separate line on that, because sometimes
Blasting.
we, will, if we have a piece of ledge that outcrops on the side of the road, we'll go remove that as a specific job. We could add it into construction.
That's what
It's
I-
just, yeah, I mean, it's just been one of those things that they've always carried that line.
It's kinda
Since
funny, you
before-
know, you say construction, you know, paving,
Yeah.
but then you got
Yeah,
to do in
Well,
construction. you
it
know?
was the same issue like we
Part
were
of it,
explaining
you know?
about that highway services other. We
Yeah.
found out that that was basically ended up being construction or maintenance, so we put it
Yeah,
in there.
because I bet you could
Yeah,
Am I
Yeah.
supposed to delete that line?
move
No,
it right
we
in
haven't
there,
talked
right?
about it.
Yeah,
No,
no.
I know it's 8,000, but it's 8,000, right?
I think it's 3,500.
Blasting is
Was it?
3,500.
Okay.
It wasn't
It wasn't
that.
Sorry, well,
No, whatever, no, you're right, it's just a, I guess, a bookkeeping
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, we're kinda creatures of habit, it was
Yeah.
always there.
Let's
so we put it
throw
in.
it in the other one, the highway
Yeah,
construction, let's do that.
It's something that people that wanna do these.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, what I do is I kinda take my lead from Lean and Allison, what, if they wanna
Yeah, just kind of,
simplify it, it's
when
fine
I
with
read
me.
this thing earlier,
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird thing to see that,
Yeah,
you know?
like I said, it's always been a
Yeah. Okay.
separated them. I think there's been several line items over the last few years that you've eliminated.
To start it, yeah.
To try to, again, streamline it. Cause there's no really good reason other than that.
Okay, well, we're on the way on that one.
It's all part of, you know, being accountable and transparent in all honesty, because I mean, ultimately, all we need is a bottom line, you can say highway department, $570,000, and that's it, and it all gets lumped in there, and the software we have can break it all down, so we can actually track that sort of stuff, so when people like yourselves ask questions, we're able to
Yeah,
answer
okay.
it instead of say, I don't know.
Right, so like you said, it's kinda like a tracking thing then,
Exactly.
to see where the money's going.
Absolutely, that's the whole idea of it, is to
'Cause
be
Jeff
accountable.
wasn't telling me.
Huh?
That's because you weren't telling me.
Well, you know, the bottom line is, Leo, if we're doing a road construction project and we have to spend $5,000 on
Yeah,
busing,
yeah, right.
we're gonna
right,
spend
yeah,
$5,000.
right, no, I
You know, it's
agree.
gonna come
I
out
agree.
of.
You can't
yeah,
stop.
but-
It's-
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And you're not going around it.
There's always been a line item there, and years ago, when I first started, the
Well, I think
town
Brian explained
administrator,
it
everybody
well
else.
though, you know, it's
Yeah,
just
they
to
were
keep track
always
of it.
adamant about having a number.
Just to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, that's,
You said it, I didn't, remember that.
How about the culverts and guardrail? That's zero,
we've been adding that right in with construction.
okay.
What do they call it?
But even
Transparency.
if you have an emergency repair or something.
Maybe just take it out of the highway construction maintenance. That is, again,
Well, yeah, all 580, that's 570 at town.
yeah,
Like I say, we're creatures of habit, but I mean, you know, as time goes by and we kind of refine some of these things and we come into the 21st century, we'll probably do a bit more, better accounting on these things, so that line item might actually get used in the future, who knows?
I guess, is it something that has to stay in there once it, no matter what?
Yeah, because if you ever wanna go back,
Oh,
you have to have it right, and keep the lease,
History.
at least the whole,
All the history,
all the history.
yeah.
we don't wanna lose the history.
Don't get me wrong,
No, no,
there's
no.
also get 650 in. I don't want people to ask me where every penny went either.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have any problem with that, it's just,
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
we just add it all in with the construction.
It's a balancing act, we're trying to be accountable, but yet we don't wanna take and micromanage everything to death either, so.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why we just stop putting in.
Any other questions for
I
the
got
highway?
lazy.
Alright, we're moving on to solid waste. And Woody, by all means, you can jump in if you would like, you know, if there's something comes up. Admin solid waste, increase for 53 pay periods and CPI at 1,272. Part-time, increase of 2002. Full-time overtime, no change. Equipment rental fees, $10 increase. Training solid waste, decrease of $195. Subcontracted services, no change. Supplies, decrease of $650. Department equipment maintenance went down $6,500. Department equipment, increase of $100. Telephone, increase of $771. The transfer station never had internet down there and a computer, or maybe they might have once.
Long time ago, we
Long
did.
time ago, but, we felt that, you know, so he, to take and do the work that he needs to do as far as reports for the state and everything else, and communication wise with the town office, we were able to put a computer down there, and as part of the last year's, warrant article, and also, and that meant we had to put internet in there, so that increases, a big part of it, I believe, is due to the internet.
Yes.
What, you're not gonna use the dial-up modem anymore?
There you go. Yeah, we'll start it today, maybe tomorrow.
Well, I guess, does anybody else here use a dial-up modem? And if the answer is yes, then we'll talk, if not, then we'll stay with what we got. Uniforms, a decrease of $800, mobile phones, increase of 105, fuel cost, decrease of 1,500, ash and lab testing is a decrease of $25, fees and services for the transfer station, decrease, 367. Alright. Municipal solid waste, increase of $1,512. That's a contract that we have, I believe the rate goes up this year, right?
Yes.
Construction demolition removal, increase of $882, that's the same thing as well, it's a contractual item. Hazardous waste collection, that went up $2,000, this past year with the community's Blowing Dunbarton doing hazardous waste, was kind of a shock to us that I guess something changed somewhere along the line and, we had quite the, increase on the hazardous waste, so we upped it $2,000 to compensate for that again next year, I guess.
Yeah, what ended up happening is we had a vendor that was supposed to show up to take the oil away. That vendor became very ill, wasn't able to do it, so it ended up going out for hazardous waste as opposed to be going to, this vendor collects it and takes it to the
Waste
shop.
oil?
Yep, the waste oil ended up going to, Clean Ventures, I believe was the company that took the hazardous waste, ended up going with them.
Have you looked at Capital Well to see if they'll take it?
It's not with me, it's mostly collected from Bo, they have a guy who does it, it was at a last minute deal, it wasn't like they had any notice. So we ended up with an increased bill for that. The other thing that's been increasing it is, your smoke detectors, that's an increase, we're actually looking, I was supposed to meet with Bo,
Mercury, right?
yes,
Yeah.
and then, actually, it's not mercury, it's,
That was,
yeah, I can't remember what it is in there, but yeah, there's a issue with the smoke detectors.
Cesium?
that contributed.
I can't remember, you know, so yeah.
I can tell you on the waste oil, Ralph, that you can't just take and generate waste oil and just give it to anybody. It is regulations that go along with that, and you have to take and do testing and so forth. I mean, if we generated our own waste oil and burnt it ourselves, that's one thing. But when you take and start generating waste oil and you start giving it to people, the environmental services folks wants testing done, and you gotta verify that it is what they call spec oil, or specification, meets their specs. Because if you go to burn it in a furnace and it's not, you get some pretty heavy fines, so.
This is the oil, we might be a little confused, this is the oil that's collected there, not collected over here. Our oil's collected and the company comes in and takes it at no charge,
Well,
but this
I
is
guess-
oil that was collected there. Like I said, there's normally a vendor that
So-
takes it. This one vendor became extremely ill and at the last minute wasn't able to be there, so we had to do something with it.
Why are we paying for their oil?
Because it's part of the deal, Bo Dunbarton, it's together, and we pay a percentage of, it's based off cars, and you take the whole bill, and it's broke down, say the bill is $16,000, and it's all broke down after they take the grants out, they take that grant money out, and the bill is broke out and divvied up between the two towns.
It's by percentage of
Right,
population
by
that actually
percentage.
uses, correct?
And usage and that sort of thing. Usually, Dunbarton for many years has come out on the very low side of it. This was an unexpected issue that happened. The plan, the reason that we bumped it up this year, again, was just in case, there are some fees where, like anything else, the vendors are going up on their cost. It costs about, I wanna say last year it was $16,000 for that day. And we've tried to have them here, and for the short amount of time they were here, it was like $6,000, $5,500, our cost just for half a day here. And, you know, we've talked to Bo, I have, and said, hey, you know, what about having it in Dunbar? And they said, absolutely, if you wanna do that, but you're gonna pick up the majority of the bill, where they pick up the majority of the bill now. I mean, it's a good deal for us, it's just, like everything else, the costs of getting rid of
It's going
stuff is going up.
Yeah, Jeff?
I'm just gonna build on something Ralph asked, when you mentioned like the well company, a lot of the people that have those furnaces are very particular on where they get
Oh,
the
what
oil.
they get,
Cause
yeah.
people tend to put anything.
I know what you're saying, but if
You
you
know,
get,
they get all kinds of
antifreeze and
contaminants.
whatnot in there.
Yeah, so if you get to a situation like that where everybody's bringing in, dumping in a container, who knows what's in there? They like to.
I just thought it was something that
Oh, we had right
we
here?
were coming, that was coming from us,
Oh,
and they kinda watch what goes in there, so I don't know, I didn't know if that was an option, that's all.
yeah.
Well,
Amazing
then
when
it becomes
people sneak in jugs.
then we become a marketer when we do that, if we're giving it away to them like that. If we have someone come and pull it out by contract, as like the state contract, that's a different venue, but once we start giving them away to people like that, we become a marketer, and we have to follow different rules. And it's just not worth our time to do that for what
Yep.
little we generate, to be honest with you. Any other questions on solid waste?
Yeah, I got one.
fire away.
What's the tonnage rate right now, Woody?
This year, we delivered 843 point something tons.
Yeah, what's the cost?
This
Per
year's
ton?
cost or last year's cost?
What's it gonna cost?
This year, it's gonna cost, you hold on, I got my note right here, 61.25 a ton. From last year was 59.50. And demo this year is 65.40, and I believe it was, when I did it right, I think that was like 62.50, something like that for demo.
Okay. Is that still air call or not?
No, we actually, when we put it out to bid, we put it out once, we only had one reply. So, spoke with the board, decided to put it out again. It actually ended up coming in, low bid was, zero waste or bow recycling. Over a 3-year span.
Okay, so you got a contract for 3
Yes, we
years?
have a contract for 3 years with increases in
Yeah,
each
built
3 years.
into that, yeah.
Some of their final year increase was actually less than some of the people's first year start. The other nice thing is, it's a shorter haul.
What do they do with it?
Most-
The trash?
The trash, they actually they have it, they haul to Wheelabrator, and when they get shut off from Wheelabrator, it goes to the landfill. And-
Turnkey in Rochester?
No, it actually goes to, Bethlehem,
So in other words, it either gets burnt or buried.
or buried.
It don't get picked over.
No,
Okay.
no, it's very similar to, Wheelabrator, with the exception they don't have a big pit. You back in the door, you dump on the floor,
Yeah.
they come in with a loader, push it up, and there's a big clawed excavator sitting there, and he stacks it. And the truck comes in the opposite side door, he takes it from here and loads it in the tractor trailer. The only thing they do pick out of it is, because in that same building, next to the demo, the trash by MSW pile, is also the demo pile. When you dump the demo there, they pull, if you have steel or something in your demo pile, they
Yeah,
pull steel out.
they try to recycle that.
And they'll try and pull, cardboard out, but they don't go through bags or nothing. I mean, most of the time, they're busy enough
So
there,
it
they
goes
don't.
to their facility first before it goes to the incinerator?
Yes, yeah.
Or to Bethlehem?
What the Bethlehem. Depending, right now, I believe it's going to the incinerator until they get shut off,
Okay.
you know, for taking too much in.
Yeah.
And then they have to truck it up.
Any other questions on solid waste, folks? No? Alrighty. I think we're at the bottom here, we have an overall decrease of $1,383 on solid waste disposal. Welfare, no change on Salvation Army. Community Action Program, we have an increase of $100. Welfare salary went up CPI at $43. Direct assistance, we increased at $1,000, so we had an overall increase of $1,143 for welfare. Any questions on welfare? Hearing none, Parks and Recreation. Basketball, softball, we 0-1 those again this year. These folks taking money for that, they have a checking account, as we call it, and we as a town voted for this account that they have. And the intent of the account, when it was put into an RSA, as we've learned, was that the programs that they are receiving money for and put into this account are supposed to eventually become self-perpetuating and, you know, and use no tax dollars. They have, what was it, $17,000, was it?
It's up to 19.
$19,000 in this checking account, and, we felt that it was, behoove them to take and use that to take and pay for any expenses they have for those programs. Once it starts getting down to the point where it's zero, then, you know, obviously, we'll be happy to take and, you know, put it in the budget for, and the taxes can pay for that if it needs it. But in the meantime, we felt that it was, well within their, checking accounts budget to handle it. Halloween, we don't do anything for Halloween anymore. Christmas was an increase of $150. Easter, no change. Excursions, we increased at $650. They're looking to do 2 bus trips in 2016. They do the December one for Christmas. Go down to Boston. I wanna do one in the spring now. I can also say I went on the bus trip this year to Boston. It was a great time. Good, very well worth it. highly recommend it. Old Home Day, we decreased the line $1,500 because we're now only back down to 1 day instead of 2 days, cause the 250th is over. And fireworks display, we decreased it $4,500, no fireworks. We've gotten some feedback from between some sources that they were, thought it was a waste of money. If someone thinks it's not a waste of money, we can always amend it on the floor. But, we took and listened to the folks, and, consensus was that they can reduce that down. Memorial Day, no change at $300. And so Parks and Rec is an overall decrease of $5,200.
Question,
Question?
are they still collecting fees for the stuff that they're doing, the basketball and all that?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's an ongoing thing, they keep putting money into that account?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Softball may be changing a little bit, I know that, cause right now they're hooked up with Goffstown, and now because of the school change over to Bow, SAU, that they're looking at doing something with that, and
They are going to,
they are gonna, so they decided to go to Bow. So, I'm not sure exactly how that's gonna affect that account and the charging and such there, but, I'm sure we'll find out soon, once they figure that out themselves. Library came in with a flat budget, and that is the last of it, okay. So, our overall budget for 2016 proposed right now is $2,162,543. From last year budget to this year's budget, we're $14,607 over that budget, which is a 0.48% increase. Less than 0.5%, folks. Personally, I think I'd like to thank all the department heads and committees that put their budgets together. We had a budget town hall meeting. Didn't seem like it went too well, but I think overall, I think the message was out there, and they did a fabulous job of trying to keep everything level services, but yet conservative, so we don't take and hurt the taxpayer too bad. I think only a $14,000 increase is pretty damn good. That's my opinion. I can't speak for my two colleagues up here, but if they wanna chime in, they can correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
I got one question.
Chuck, I see it first.
Do you plan on putting any of the unexpended balance towards this?
We did, 68 thousand.
it's on your warrant,
Yeah.
page
it's on
2.
Talk about that, we went to the
Yep.
warrant.
I didn't get that far.
Did you have any number? Ron, did you have any number?
I didn't,
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you did.
No.
Must've been Chuck's hand behind it. Yeah, it's on, it's
Yep.
warrant article number 3.
Yeah, I see it.
And that was about that's about the amount of surplus we had from last year, or unexpended fund balance. Any questions on the budget as,
Yeah,
it sits now?
that was my next question, what's the total surplus that we have right now?
From 2015,
Yeah,
was
what-
$68,283.
What was it?
$68,283.
That's total,
That was the
That's all we
surplus.
had left,
and you're gonna put that onto this?
yeah.
Yes.
So we have no surplus whatsoever if we apply this to the budget?
No,
No.
We
That's
still
two
have-
different things.
That's two, yeah. We have about,
About,
figure about 400,000?
you would have to ask.
Yeah, okay, that was my question,
Yeah, I
How
think
much surplus
that's
do we have?
separate. This would, if we lapse this would increase our surplus by
I can
68.
tell you, I wrote that down because we had a meeting on Monday.
You're taking that 68,000 out of that, what I was wondering was what was the surplus you had that you took that 68,000 out of?
I did it right here, I just gotta find out which page I left it on.
We're running a pretty good surplus.
Yeah, I wanna say it's just under 400, we're talking about,
Yeah, I wanna say it was right around that.
Hold on.
is it in the minutes? Is it in these minutes or not?
It could be, no,
Okay, that was workshop, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah, so I got this right here.
it's hard to keep straight, we've done this so much.
One too tight, one straight.
So you create this down before.
I know I wrote it down, where'd I write it? Could be the last place I look. Oh, here it is. Alrighty, I know I had it written down. Alrighty, in 2014, we had $394,000 in the bank. We took, $100,000 of that last year, we put towards the taxes.
You had 200 that went on there, right?
Right,
Yeah.
one on the warrant and then
One
that
on
tax
the
rate
wrong, one
setting.
afterwards, huh?
And then, in beginning of 2015, we put some money towards it as well, in tax rate setting, and we brought it down to $251,000. We had unanticipated revenue, and the surplus brought it back up to $375,000 for money in the bank. And we decided to take $68,100 and whatever, $16.
Okay, so that 375 was before you took the 68, okay.
Correct, so we should be somewhere down around
Yeah, a little over 300,
305,000
little over 300, yeah.
in the bank, which is around 4.8%, I think.
Is that what they want?
Well,
They want
they
more than
want
that.
5%,
They want 5%?
Minimum 5%.
yeah.
But then again, we also don't have any outstanding, debt, you know, there's no bonds, we're not, any huge leases.
As far as we know, right?
Pardon?
As far as we know, we still got that school deal, don't we?
We'll do.
It's a different budget.
It's a different budget, it's not town.
But the town would have to make up for it if,
The town as a whole pays the school, yeah, but I mean, it has nothing to do with us.
It would have to be on their warrant, and it would have to be raised from taxes in
Okay.
March, and then it would
Okay.
be applied, or you'd feel it at the end of the bill, your second half bill. Did they talk about that? You went to the,
They did, but they, I think it's still going through some legal channels.
okay,
There's some, I forget they had a name for it, and I don't recall what it was now, but there's, still some legal, posturing going on.
Probably negotiations of sorts. Did they ever get a, well, you haven't got an answer from the Supreme Court yet, right?
No,
Actually, they have interveners that came in, or not that came in, but they're looking to see if there are any interveners that have an interest
Okay.
into which way it should be